Is this your house? Yeah, I used to be proud of this yard. What happened? I kept it perfect for 40 years, and now my body just doesn't listen anymore.
I didn't stop because the yard looked messy. I stopped because the house looked like it had been forgotten by everyone you used to care about. The weeds had grown so tall they swallowed the entire walkway and brushed against the old porch railing, turning the front yard into something that looked more like an abandoned field than a place where someone once lived. Before I tell you what happened next, comment where you are watching from because stories like this often travel farther than the streets they begin on. This house sits on a quiet block in Wichita, Kansas, where most neighbors keep their yards trimmed and their porches clean. But this place became different. The paint was peeling from the wood side, vines hung down from the roof line, and an old recliner sat on the porch like someone used to spend long afternoons there before life slowly changed. My father and I had passed this yard several times while working in the area, but every time we thought about cleaning it, we noticed movement inside the house, and decided it might be better not to interfere. On this day the windows were dark and the yard looked worse than ever, the weeds chest high and the walkway completely hidden. So we started clearing the front, pushing through thick brush and dead plants until the outline of the old path began to appear again. About 30 minutes into the job, I heard the sound of a door slowly opening behind us. When I turned around, an elderly man stepped out onto the porch. He looked to be close to 90 years old. He stood there quietly for a moment watching us work, before slowly walking down the porch steps. I shut off the machine and asked if everything was all right. The man looked at the yard, and then back at me, and said softly that this used to be his pride. He told us his name was Mr. Baker, and that he had lived in that house for more than 40 years. He said there was a time when the grass never grew more than a few inches, because he cut it every Saturday morning without fail. And he looked down at his hands, and gave a small smile, that didn't quite hide the emotion in his voice. He said age catches up to everyone eventually, and these days his body just doesn't listen the way it used to. I told him we were cleaning it for free, because nobody deserves to feel ashamed of the home they spent their life building. For a moment he didn't say anything. Then his eyes filled with tears and he nodded slowly. He said he thought the neighborhood had forgotten it, and that seeing someone care about the yard again meant more than we probably understood. By the time we finished, the weeds were gone, the porch was visible again, and the old house looked like the first time in years. Before we left, Mr. Baker shook my hand and said something I won't forget. He said a yard can grow back in a few months, but kindness is something people remember for the rest of their lives. If you believe older homeowners, like Mr. Baker, deserve help, instead of being left behind, comment your city below and share this so more people remember what community is supposed to look like.